This is an Aaron's 624E Snowblower. It's a great machine, but when I engage the auger, it works fine. However, when I release the auger, the handle's not popping up all the way, so the auger's not stopping, and when my kids use this machine, it's kind of a safety hazard. I don't want this to be like this. I will add that it started operating like this after last week's ice storm, and the machine did get covered in ice, and so I'm wondering if there's something damaged. If we watch the handlebar mechanisms from a different angle, we can see that there's a piece of metal underneath that's blocking the handlebar assembly from coming back to its normal position. I'm pointing at it now with my screwdriver. After a little bit of research and looking at parts diagrams, I've found this is called the interlock shaft, and what it does is it allows you to keep the auger engaged while you're driving. For whatever reason, it does appear that this metal tab on the interlock shaft is higher than it's supposed to be. Now, if I observe the left handlebar, which engages the wheels, I notice that there's a similar metal tab on the left-hand side. However, it seems to be lower than normal, and it's not making contact with the top or bottom of that handlebar. So upon closer inspection, I can actually see, if you look where the weld is, you can see that tab is actually bent downward. That happened when some snow and ice got in there, and I just went and cranked the handlebar down. So it got pushed further than it should have, and it started to bend. Now, a new interlock shaft is about $62 from Aaron's, but I'm thinking I can simply bend this thing back carefully without breaking it, and it will operate as good as new. Thankfully, I do not have to remove the whole handlebar assembly. There are 2 cotter pins which hold this interlock shaft in place, as well as a tension spring on the right-hand side. So I'm going to start by removing the tension spring, and I'll do that by removing the bottom hook with the needle nose pliers. Next, I'll remove the 2 cotter pins under the left-hand handlebar using the same needle nose pliers. There will be 2 washers that you'll need to catch as you're removing the interlock shaft. Now, with the tension spring and those 2 cotter pins removed, you just need to wiggle it back and forth and then fish it out from underneath the handlebars. Be sure to keep track of all your parts. So here's the interlock shaft. There are 2 washers and 2 cotter pins. And don't forget, your tension spring is likely still hanging in the handlebars like mine. On the right-hand side, I just pointed to where that tab is bent with the screwdriver. So if we take a closer look at the right-hand side of that interlock shaft, you'll see the tab of metal underneath the auger engagement. It's flat right above the weld. Now, if I flip it over and we take a look at the left-hand side, here you can see that the tab of metal underneath the wheel engagement handlebar has been bent downward. So I'm going to put this in a vise and see if I can very gently bend it back to its normal position. Now, honestly, I have no idea if this makes a difference, but I am using hot water to get that bar nice and warm before I try to bend that tab of metal. Again, what I don't want to do is snap it off at the weld. Then I'll have to spend the $62 on a new interlock shaft. Okay, so now I have that interlock shaft in my vise, and I tried to position it so that the vise itself is actually supporting that weld. I'm going to put a vise grips on the tab, and I'm going to try and bend it so it's actually parallel with the tab at the other side. So from this angle, you can see how far I need to bend that tab of metal. All right, so putting my vise grips all the way down on that tab, and then I just very gently pull it back, and I'm watching the other tab to see how far I need to bend it. And I don't want to go any further. I want to get them basically at the exact same level. All right, I'm going to stop there and eyeball it, and it does look like I need to go a little bit further. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a tug, and then I'll stop right there and line it up Actually, now you've got a pretty good angle on that too. It looks like if I want to make it perfect, I got to go just a touch more. And again, I'm going pretty low and just being real careful because I don't want to snap that weld and have to blow that $62. So I'm going to stop there, and actually it looks like those two plates are perfectly parallel. So I'm going to stop there, reinstall it, and see how it performs. Now, before we reinstall it, you're going to want to place one of your washers on. This will be the inside washer. Now I'm using my right hand to make sure that washer doesn't fall off, and then I'm fishing that interlock shaft through the handlebar assembly. And then what I'll do is I will slide the end of the shaft with the cotter pins through its hole, and that will give me the slack I need to push it through the hole on the right-hand side of the handlebar. And using a needle nose pliers, I am installing that inside cotter pin. Next, I'll put on the outside washer and then install the second cotter pin, again using that needle nose pliers. And back on the right-hand side from underneath, I'm just going to grab the bottom of that tension spring and hook it on to the bottom tab of that interlock shaft. And a quick test of that right handlebar to engage the auger, and it is popping back up all the way where it's supposed to. Now from this angle, you can see that the right handlebar assembly and that little gear that locks it on the interlock is clear of that right metal tab. Now to make sure everything works properly, if we engage the drive and then engage the auger, indeed the auger does stay engaged until we release the drive, which is our left handlebar. So with a little bit of troubleshooting and a vise and a vice grips, we were able to repair this snowblower without having to blow $62 on a new interlock shaft. Now, if you have a broken interlock shaft and need to order a new one, you can click on the description and you will see the part number. And if you're just trying to fix yours the way I did, I'll also have some more information in the description. Thanks for watching. Check out the description for more information and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos.